When we got married, our two families got supersized. Living large was great until the economy tanked and Todd lost his contracting business. Now it's time for big cutbacks and big changes. We'll do without, but we'll do it together.
It's what everyone's talking about, downsizing. So, you know, Hollywood actually came calling for a reality-type show that can help people get back on track. The first show on the WE Network debuts tomorrow, and the family they follow is from right here in Arizona. And excited this morning to be here in Anthem with the Bruce family. This is Mom Laura, we have Dad Todd, and meet their 7 children. We're going to start from the eldest here. We have, and I'm going to get this right, Heather, Bailey, Levi, Whitney, Dylan, Rex. Those 3, by the way, triplets. And Danielle rounds out our 7 great kids. And let me just tell you, after talking to them for a few minutes here, already falling in love with the family, have no doubt you guys will too. Laura, why do something like this? There's a lot of people out there who don't want to talk about their financial situation right now because it's just not good.
Well, I think there's a lot of shame involved, and we're trying to erase that because, you know, people make mistakes, and the economy did take a toll on people's finances, and, you know, we want to, you know, give that hope to people. Depression is at its highest. There's, you know, suicides going up. And you know what? We wanted to take the situation and show we may not be struggling as much as some people are. Some people may be doing better than us, but I think everybody can get something from the show. And it really was a great experience. I mean, you know, it certainly wasn't easy, but we pulled together as a family, and I think the kids have valuable tools that they can take with them when they're adults now, too.
You guys started shooting in May, shot 8 series that will start tomorrow. Todd, tell me a little bit about a background, because you guys were doing really well, had 2 homes that ended up having to foreclose.
Right. Good construction, growing twofold every year. We had, you know, a large home investment, 401k that had grown to, you know, almost 80,000, and all of that is gone. So, you know, when things started to turn south, the jobs were no longer there and available for us. So we started to finance payroll and try to keep the work unit together, and we just couldn't do that any longer.
And so here you guys are now, several years later into this, and you guys are going to be sharing what they've learned, how they do it all. We want to talk to some of the kids right now. All right, we have the 2 eldest here. Heather and Bailey are both 17. You guys have had to give up a lot. Was this, you know, was this something you guys are talking about among your peers?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that talking is what needs to be done, just because communication between our family has helped us so much. And I think kids at our school don't want to share it, but they're also going through the same thing.
Bailey, for you, the experience?
The experience, like a lot of people say that they would be embarrassed if they were on a show like ours, but they're probably going through the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. And I would do this experience so many more times. It was like the best time of my life, so I'm very glad about it.
Well, that is awesome. We're excited to see the show tomorrow. All right, here are our triplets. You guys know I'm biased to the triplets here. Tell me, what's the biggest thing you've had to give up?
I think as a family, the biggest thing we had to give up was probably the house, and that's because Todd put in so much work in the house, and he just did a good job, like, with everything, and I just feel really bad that we had to give up the house. But
and you guys are doing well though, because making a comeback, and Danielle here, who rounds out all our kiddos, you're only 10 years old. What did you think about doing the show?
I liked it a lot. Our crew was amazing, and it was just a really good experience for all of us to come together and meet as a family every day.
And what would you tell other kids out there who maybe their parents are having a hard time with money right now and they need to cut back to? What would you say to those kids to try to understand?
To just kind of forget about the money part and just to think about your family, and that's all that matters, and family comes first. If you have to give up anything, then you know that your family is there and they'll always be there for you.
And I can tell you guys are all here for each other. So hope you guys will catch it again. Premieres tomorrow night on the WE Network. Now back in studio, Kaley, I understand you're with one of the gentlemen who actually helped the Bruce family out.
Right, yes, in fact, he's right here. He's Dean Wegner. Thank you very much, Tess. This is so cool. So you played a big role in this. How did this come to be for you?
Well, you know, they needed a local financial expert, so they went on Google, of course, and I popped up, thankfully, and I did the audition, and it was great. And so they said, Dean, let's do it. So, and I embraced the Bruce family. It was great from the get-go.
You know, we're hearing the messages from the kids there. We've all learned an important lesson about money here in the last couple of years in light of what's going on with our economy. But you have some tips that you help to instill within the Bruce family. They're working, and we want to share some of these tips with our folks who are watching there at home.
Absolutely. Well, with your children, talk to your children. You cannot hide it from your kids. They know you're moving. There's a for sale sign. They're talking about it in the schools. So embrace it and do the best you can. Give them a soft landing if you have to move. Keep them in the same neighborhoods, the same schools. And those things, kids like consistency, so that'll help them adjust to the new setting and the new financial habits.
One of the things I noticed in a couple of the kids that Tess was talking to, they have that light in their eye because it looks like they've redirected some of this into positive ways to be creative. And we'll get to creativity here in just a moment, but you say budget line by line. What does that mean?
Well, you know, you have to decrease spending, obviously, and so you really have to acknowledge every expense that's going out the door. And so you just have to prioritize, and it's not the end of the world. You know, sometimes in a year you can bring certain luxury items back, but right now cut everything back to as skinny as you can get it and acknowledge it. Don't wait, take action now.
So what stays and what goes. Okay, then it's work smarter. And that kind of, you could look at that and go, I'm doing all I can here. But this is where the creativity comes into play.
Exactly. You know, in the Bruce's situation, they were, and you'll see in the show where I actually say, you're in checkmate. And what I meant is their fixed expenses are higher than their revenue. So they had to increase revenues. And so Todd went out, he got out of his comfort zone, he did some public presentations, went door to door, social media, got a lot more leads, and you'll just have to see the show what happened. But in certain situations in your own family, you have to get a second job, get a roommate, bring more money in. You can't hide from it.
And a lot of these opportunities are out there. You just have to go dig for them, which is really interesting. And finally, coupons. And I got to tell you, Tess Raffles, she has nailed this market, especially with the triplets. But there's some great web resources out there.
There's, you know, a great resource is couponsense.com. And right now in America, the average family of four spends $706 a month on coupons. If you can save 50%, which is typical for Coupon Sense, that's $353 a month. Now, to compare that to a mortgage, that's like saving 2% on a $200,000 mortgage. That's astronomical savings. So embrace coupons. It's a great way to cut down, which usually is your second biggest expense next to your housing, is your grocery bill.
Makes sense. Dean Wegner, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure to have you here.